Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Can a Christian man marry a not a Muslim woman or lady? The Quranic verse I think I remember is about Quran 5.5, where Muslim men are given the privilege of marrying women of the book that are chaste. But then we've had several fatwa about stuff like that, where it's a lot of the sheikhs have said even that permissibility for men is within a community that promotes Islam. So when it comes to the female, I cannot say, okay, this is the verse or this is the hadith. I leave that to the sheikhs. I am here to share on real life experiences and practicality. If you say, what we've heard from Sheikh Ibrahim was that families are supposed to protect, the husband is supposed to protect his family from the fire of hell. We have stable livelihoods here and in the hereafter. We're supposed to have spouses that will give us the good of this life, and we hold them in the hereafter and become spouses thereafter. Part of the conditions of marriage, as we said, is that he has to have some kind of knowledge of the deen and also practice the deen. Practical experience. Day one, you want to marry a man that is a non-Muslim. Let's say you are able to convince the imam, as we do here. You only get to know about this man at the wedding place. The imam doesn't really know them before, and a marriage is conducted, which I have seen. Okay, they've given you to the husband. First day, wedding night, things happen. What's the first thing? He's supposed to pray over you before anything happens, and thereafter, you're supposed to do a ghusl. He doesn't do that. And we know that thereafter, there's supposed to be prayers in the morning. He cannot do that. Then we got to the point where children even come into the equation. Their ethics of welcoming a child, their ethics of raising a child, and as my sister here has said, it is the responsibility of the husband to give religious and spiritual guidance and education to his family. And if he doesn't know how to, he knows where to direct his family. So if you marry a non-Muslim, I understand the fact that there are quite a lot of marriageable Muslim women and less number of marriageable Muslim men. That is quite understood. But then you have to re-examine your iman, your purpose in life. Yes, some of the non-Muslims can be much more adoring, much more attentive, much more responsible, and then you have the fitna of, there's no Muslim man asking me to get married, and he is asking me to get married. So this is where you have to, how will I say, weigh. Do you want to go and live your life with a non-Muslim man, and then there is spiritual and religious disalignment, I will call it, because you're definitely going to have issues. Is it salah? Is it fasting? Is it raising a child? Even intimacy. We have a religion where everything has a code. Everything has a framework. In as much as, yes, in some situations you're giving that allowance to innovate and do some things, but they are basic issues. So it's about trying to hold on to your deen and sacrificing. You want to marry a non-Muslim when Islam tells you you cannot because no other Muslim is coming, or would you rather hold on and obey Allah and wait for that Muslim man to come? May Allah make it easy, and if anybody is in that trial, may Iman and faith overcome whatever it is that the need and the emotions of that person. It's a trying situation. You have to be in it for you to understand it. The other one about spouses having issues to the point of violence and all that. You can only, how will I say, you can't judge when you see things happening in a marriage, whether it gets violent or it gets really loud. But if it gets to a point where there is either raised voices, raised hands, and maybe nowadays raised knives, you know, don't take it at face value. Definitely there is that issue of some things have not been done in that relationship that needed to be done. Some things have not been transmitted or communicated to the other partner as it should be. There are issues that have not been dealt with, and it's coming out in a violent and aggressive form. We are not taking away the fact that yes, there are some partners could have psychological issues and there are drug issues and all that. But where there is violence or aggression in a marriage, definitely there are communication problems. After the fact that your marriage should be based on deen consideration, or your selection of spouse should be based on deen communication, in deen considerations. Secondly, you should look for a spouse that you communicate easily with. Somebody that allows you to say what's in your mind, regardless of how it comes out. We have had how the Prophet ﷺ and his wives have interacted. We have had how he calmly would tolerate. So it is in this spousal selection that I think some of us think it's a thing of respect, where when brother so and so who wants to marry you talks, I don't like this, you shouldn't be, don't you know my position as so and so? You meekly calm down and keep quiet. I'm told I'm not to talk back to him. Yes, there should be respect in communication both ways. Sometimes the voice is raised, but there should be that commitment that whatever happens, I should hear from her, she should hear from me, and we commit to solving it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.